Welcome back to Enlycast, your daily English podcast. I'm Jack.
And I'm Sophia. So, Jack, I have a question for you and for everyone listening.
Oh, I like this. Go on.
Okay, have you ever started learning something new, maybe a language or a new skill, and at the very beginning you thought, wow, I'm actually a natural at this. Like you felt super confident?
Oh, absolutely. Every single time. Followed by a crushing realization that I know nothing.
Exactly. That's the feeling. You go from feeling like a genius to feeling, well, kind of stupid. And it turns out that emotional roller coaster has a name, and it is one of the most important concepts for any learner to understand.
And that's what we're talking about today. The Dunning-Kruger effect and what it tells us about the battle between confidence and actual competence.
It's a huge topic, and we think it's going to resonate with a lot of you. But before we dive deep into the psychology of learning, we just wanted to take a moment to ask for a small favor.
Yeah. If you're enjoying Enlycast and, you're finding these conversations helpful on your English journey, it would honestly mean the world to us if you could take a second to subscribe, leave a like, or drop a comment. We read every single one, and it's the single best way to help us reach more amazing learners just like you.
It really does make a difference. Thank you so much for that. Now, Jack, let's get into it. Let's start at the beginning. Phase 1 of this whole effect.
Right. So the first phase is, well, psychologists have a nickname for it. They call it Mount Stupid.
It sounds harsh, but it's so descriptive.
It really is. This is that peak of overconfidence we just talked about. It's when you have a little bit of knowledge about a subject and your brain, well, it incorrectly concludes that you know a lot.
And in English learning, this is so common. You learn like the present simple tense, 100 basic vocabulary words, and you can introduce yourself. And you think, English is easy. I've got this.
Exactly. The key here is you don't know what you don't know yet. You're not aware of the vast complexities, the exceptions to the grammar rules, the idioms, the phrasal verbs.
The what? Oh no!
Sorry, but it's true. Your small area of knowledge feels like the whole world. So you're standing on top of Mount Stupid, feeling like the king of the world. But then you keep learning, and that leads to the second phase.
Ah, yes, the second phase. This is the one that I think causes so many people to give up. Psychologists call it the Valley of Despair.
Another cheerful name.
Right? But it's so accurate. This is the point where you start to realize just how much you don't know. The more you learn, the more you uncover the true size of the subject. Suddenly, English isn't just tenses and vocabulary. It's nuance, culture, context, pronunciation. It's huge.
And your confidence just plummets. It falls off a cliff. And it's not just about feeling overwhelmed. It's also a period of intense comparison. You look at native speakers or even more advanced learners, and their ability seems almost like magic. You can't see the thousands of hours they put in. You only see their current skill. And your brain tells you, I'll never get there. It's a cognitive distortion, really. And it's not just about feeling overwhelmed. It's also a period of intense comparison. You look at native speakers, or even more advanced learners, and their ability seems almost like magic. You can't see the thousands of hours they put in. You only see their current skill, and your brain tells you, I'll never get there. It's a cognitive distortion, really.
Completely. You go from feeling smart to feeling like you're the dumbest person in the room. You start thinking, I'll never get this. Everyone else is better than me. Maybe I should just quit.
I've been there. I remember when I first started learning about audio editing for this podcast, at first I was like, oh, you just cut the bad parts out. Easy.
Oh yeah?
And then I discovered compression, equalization, noise gates, mastering, and I just sat back and thought, I have ruined everything. I was deep in the valley of despair.
I think everyone has that story. But here's the most important message of this whole episode. If you are feeling this right now, if you're in that valley, congratulations.
Right, that's a great point.
It means you are actually learning. Realizing you don't know everything is the first sign of genuine progress. It's a key predictor of long-term retention. That frustration you feel is a sign that you're on the right path. It's not a reason to quit, it's a reason to celebrate. For any listener who's there right now, we see you. It's hard, but you're doing the real work.
So true. That's the emotional connection right there. It's a shared struggle. So, okay, we're in the valley. It's dark. It's scary. There are audio compressors everywhere. How do we get out? This brings us to the third phase.
Yes, the way out. Let's talk about that.
The third phase is called the slope of enlightenment, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a slow, and I have to emphasize, slow climb upwards. You start to connect the dots. You have moments where a complex grammar rule suddenly just clicks.
You understand a joke in a movie for the first time without subtitles, or you use a new phrasal verb correctly in a conversation and feel that little spark of joy.
That's it exactly. And your confidence starts to return. But this time, it's different. It's not the baseless overconfidence from Mount Stupid. It's a quiet, earned confidence. It's based on actual skill and understanding. You start to recognize not just what you know, but also what you don't know, and you become comfortable with that.
And that's where the real magic happens for language learners. It's when you shift your mindset from I need to be perfect to I am a work in progress, and that's okay. You start to embrace the journey. You focus on consistency, not intensity. You practice for 30 minutes every day instead of 5 hours once a week.
Yeah. You seek out feedback instead of fearing it. You understand that making mistakes is not a sign of failure, but a sign that you're trying.
Totally. This slope is long and it's not always exciting. Some days you feel like you're not making any progress at all, but you are. Inch by inch, you're climbing out of the valley.
And eventually, that leads to the final stage, the plateau of sustainability. This is where your skills and your self-assessment begin to align. You have a realistic understanding of your abilities. You're competent and you know it.
You're not fluent, maybe not perfect, because who is, but you're effective. You can communicate, you can understand, and you have the tools and the mindset to continue learning and improving for the rest of your life.
It's a beautiful place to be. It's where the initial fragile confidence of the beginner is replaced by the resilient competence of an experienced learner.
So, when we look at the whole journey, it's really a story of humility. It's about having the courage to climb down from Mount Stupid, the resilience to walk through the valley of despair, and the patience to climb the slope of enlightenment.
That's the takeaway, really. The Dunning-Kruger effect isn't just a funny quirk of the human brain. It's a roadmap for learning anything meaningful. So don't be afraid of feeling like you don't know anything. Embrace it. That feeling is the prerequisite to truly knowing something.
And that brings us to our question for you, our listeners. We've talked about the two big psychological hurdles, the peak of overconfidence and the valley of self-doubt. So we want to ask you, when it comes to learning, which do you think is a bigger obstacle? The blind overconfidence of a beginner or the crippling self-doubt of an intermediate learner?
That's a tough one. What has held you back more in your own life? We would genuinely love to hear your thoughts and experiences on this. Leave your answer in the comments below.
Your stories are what make this community so special. And hey,
If you found this conversation helpful today, please don't forget that quick tap on the subscribe, like, and comment buttons.
It helps us a lot. Thank you for tuning in to Enlycast. Keep learning, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.